Hi, you guys. How are you? It is Tuesday, and I am at my in law's house because we were here for dinner, and I threw the tripod in the car just in case I was still here. And I kind of had to make one of those judgment calls of to stay or go. So I decided just to stay and do this here. So check out this cool backdrop. I'm in the guest room, kids room, and when they bought this house, they had this bamboo wallpaper stuff that you see behind me. So I don't know if they're gonna keep that or not, but it's kind of funky. So I was like, oh, that'll work. So I hope everybody's having a good week so far. It is been busy and crazy already. That's how it goes, right? So I want to talk to you, and this will probably be semi-quick, but I want to talk a little bit tonight about how we train others to treat us and how we can make our expectations of others and what we'll accept in relationships and really in anything, how we can make that abundantly clear and not accept anything less than we deserve. So I was having this conversation today with a client at work, and she was engaged in this text message conversation that should have ended many hours before it ended. And I know you know the type of conversations this is, where somebody says something and somebody takes it wrong, and then it turns into this whole thing of well, you did this wrong, and well, you shouldn't have said that, and I'm so hurt because you did this thing, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And this particular client has been complaining about this person in their life for a really long time. And I kind of said to her, why are you doing this? That should have ended, a good, 30, 40, 50 minutes ago, as she's kind of going through and telling me all the things that happened. And, she said, oh, you know me, I just can't, I don't know how to cut people off or to get out of relationships or how to say no to people. And I was like, yeah, that's the story you've been telling yourself. But at what point do you choose something different? And, this whole, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to relationship. I don't know how to friendship. That's a great story, but you can't spend your whole life doing that. And at what point do you decide that you're worth it? That you're worth being treated with respect? That you're worth being treated with kindness? And that somebody who calls themselves a friend to you, this applies in 1,000 different things, right? It doesn't have to be with a friend, but with a friend, with a romantic relationship, even in colleague relationships, anybody who has made it clear that they want to be in your life, but then treat you badly or are mean to you or rude to you or are putting you down, why do you allow that person to continue to have that much space in your world? So that's what we were talking a little bit about today in that particular session. But it got me thinking about how much this applies to so many of us in so many different ways of our lives in all sorts of different relationships. And at what point do we stand up and say, this is not okay? You can choose to treat me better if you'd like this relationship to continue or not. But then there's the door. And it's not to be a jerk, and it's not to be mean, and it's a way of standing up for yourself and proving to yourself your worth. I don't care about everybody else. I mean, not in that, and I don't mean that in a shitty way, but I don't need to prove my worth to you, but I do need to know for myself that I am not worth being treated badly like that I'm worth so much more than that. And if there's people in your life that aren't willing to treat you with kindness or treat you with respect and integrity and all those things, then why do they have such a large place? And I recognize that, family relationships, things like that, sometimes there's relationships or colleagues or bosses, or sometimes there's places, people in our lives that are just there that, you can't necessarily kick out of your life. But then it's a matter of how much stock do you put into that relationship, and how much do you allow your self-worth to be caught up in the things that somebody else said to you? Somebody else who obviously has their own agenda, their own insecurities, their own judgments, that has absolutely nothing to do with you. Most of what people say and do and accuse other people of or state other people is all projection. It's all stuff that they are not feeling good about themselves, and they're projecting that onto you. And as soon as we can have that awareness and recognize that most of what people are saying to us, certainly if it's about us, is generally their stuff and not ours. And that's not to say that we shouldn't take a minute and reflect and think, okay, is there something I'm missing here? Is there something about me that isn't conveying my truth the way I want it to be conveyed? And do I need to do something to fix it? And ask yourself those questions. But if you're doing that and you're asking those questions and you're going, no, like I've been nothing but kind to this person, I've been nothing but of integrity to this person, and they continue to treat me in this way, then how can I disengage in such a way that is healthy for me? So I was just telling my mother-in-law this downstairs before I came upstairs to this funky room, that, the best advice I ever got was from my godmother when I had first started dating my husband, and we were just a few weeks in. And I don't know if she had met him yet, or I don't remember exactly, but she was telling me, she said to me, the way you allow somebody to treat you in the first few weeks in the relationship will set the tone for how they treat you for the rest of the relationship. And like I said, that was the best advice I ever got, because I knew then that I needed to, demand respect. Not that he wasn't respectful, he was wonderful. But, in any of those little arguments, those little things that you start off in a relationship, and obviously this is talking about a romantic relationship, but you can think about this when a job, you can think about this when you first start anywhere, when you first start out. The way that you show other people how to treat you in the beginning is how they will continue to treat you. So what was different about this particular, relationship that I am still in and happily married to him, and we are 12 years into our relationship, is that in the beginning we did fight a little bit, because I said, this is what I need. And if that's not going to work out, then that's cool. But I'd rather know that, 6 weeks into a relationship than 6 years in. And, I learned. I had previous relationships where that wasn't the case, where, that level of understanding, respect, etc. wasn't there. And I'm so grateful that I had that advice, and that I really stuck to that, because it created something really amazing. And like I said, that absolutely applies to romantic relationships, but it doesn't have to be. It's just what you are willing to accept from other people, and what you're willing to stand up for and say, no, that's not acceptable to me. That's not how I will be treated. So here's your options. You can treat me better. You can treat me with kindness. You can treat me with love. And that's not to say I want the world sugar-coated. Tell me if I'm doing something that's unacceptable. I will respect you absolutely for that. But how do you have a respectful relationship in any capacity and still do so with integrity and kindness and gratitude for the other person, rather than from a place of vindictiveness or anger or jealousy or fear or all the other things that get in our way? So, I guess the other thought on that is just the idea of saying no to, of knowing when to say no, knowing when to say this is, too much if we're talking about business, if this is too much on my plate, if this is, you're asking too much of me, or this is what I need. There was a time that I, went into my boss's office and was like, look, I can't work these hours. This isn't working in my world. And there was some pushback, but to be able to have a respectful conversation about working less hours and doing things that worked in my world, and how we could compromise, and how, if I was willing to work these other hours, but less hours overall, what that could be. And that's just an example. But to be able to go into whatever conversations you need to go into, in whatever capacity of a relationship, and to say, this is what I need for this to work, and to accept nothing less. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have more on that. I just, more than anything, I wanted to just invite you to really look at your worth and how much you are worth to the world, how much you're worth in relationships, how much you're worth as a friend, as a colleague, as an employer, as an employee. Whatever it is in your world, all the relationships you have in your world and all the roles that you play, you are valuable. And when you know your value, then you're not allowing other people to diminish it. And that's, one of those keys to really creating confidence, to creating the life that you desire, to creating the relationships you desire, and for yourself to know that you won't accept anything other than greatness from yourself and from the way other people are willing to treat you. So I think that's all I have for you tonight. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear, some struggles and see if we can work through them together. I'd love to hear anything you have to offer on this topic. As always, if you're interested in some individual coaching, this is something I talk a lot about with people is, how to have healthy, appropriate relationships in any capacity. And if that's of interest to you or anything else I ever talk about, confidence and anxiety and fear and self-worth and all the things, you can book a free call with me. You just go to journeytopresent.com/call. And it's a free call. We just set up, it just takes you straight to my scheduling page, set up a call. I call you, we get on the phone and just see if we're fit to work together. And if we can, amazing. We'll figure out what that looks like. And if it's not a good fit, I'll refer you to somebody that it would be a good fit to be with. Because really, I want you to see the greatness that you are. So I hope you have a beautiful evening, and I will see you guys all soon. Thanks.